Take a look at this. Some pretty crazy things are happening in crypto right now. Crypto platform Wire shutters citing the bear market conditions. The SEC apparently had to change strategies because even if you come up with a bespoke rule set, you have an entire industry where the ethos is built around non-compliance, said this guy. Typically, you'd also see compliance, but we're not seeing that in this space, so we had to change strategies. Which could be why they're going so hard after everything. We're going to talk about that. We of course have to talk about the idea that whatever is happening in the Ripple lawsuit will decide everything, but there's something else that I think will decide so many things, which obviously is BlackRock coming in hot. $7 trillion Bitcoin ETF approval for BlackRock. Again, it's not there, but it could flood the market with fresh money, could be crazy. And even Mike Novogratz says BlackRock's filing for Bitcoin ETF is the best thing that could have happened. Now, at the same time, I should say, Binance and Binance US have reached a deal with the SEC, and Bakkt, a very well-known company, I should call it crypto exchange, I guess, is joining Robinhood and eToro in delisting many different major altcoins like Cardano, Polygon, and Solana, which obviously is not good news at all. But at the end of the day, it's weak companies that are doing that. It's companies that don't care about crypto but are only here to make money. As I've stated before, everybody that's in crypto right now, I personally think, if they play their cards right, are going to become richer than they are today. I mean, I honestly think if you right now have got yourself $1,000 worth of crypto, unless you've done it in a really stupid manner, I think in a couple years you'll look back and think, oh damn, I wish I had another 1,000 to buy because of how much it's going to be worth. And these companies like Bakkt, eToro, Robinhood, whatever, they know that too. And so they're trying their best to get their feet into this industry without actually burning themselves in any way, because they might not believe in the industry, but they know money is there to be made. And so whenever there's an issue like the one we are reading about right here, where obviously the SEC went after Cardano, after Solana, after Matic, they're a little bit scared and they don't care about ruining the space or not fighting the fight because they think it's not theirs. Again, we have said multiple different times why Ripple's fight is so important. It's because they've been going on for a couple of years. They've got the fight in them, and they keep stating, like we talked about in our previous video, that they want to fight this till the end. Now, before we move on, guys, make sure you press that like button. Let's try to get this video to 1,000 likes. If we can get that done, that would be awesome. And yes, it's still nighttime, so no cool view yet, but later on I'll show you. This article states, Ripple verdict could spark a new bull market or more malaise. The SEC v. Ripple is a landmark legal battle that is going to shape how courts treat crypto, and a ruling is due soon. A remark to that was people saying, well, every single crypto is different, so regardless of what happens in the Ripple case, every single case will still be, vastly researched, a vastly long process, and regardless of what's decided for XRP, every crypto will get their own due process, which is true until obviously either Coinbase breaks through or any of these companies break through in getting the SEC to make some proper rules, but that might be a little while. Then again, right now, it's really hard to say which cryptos are fine, which ones aren't. We've been alleging the SEC has been picking winners and losers, even though they say everything is clear. But the moment that Ripple comes out of this, it will showcase whether or not some cryptos are non-securities, or whether or not the SEC, I guess, still has it on the right end, and the US, I guess, is just not ready for crypto yet. It'll be a make or break moment. It will decide so much. And like I've said it before, I also think we're either going to go crazy rich with crazy gains. It's going to go massive. XRP is going to go absolutely insane if this lawsuit settles in their favor. But it's not going to be that nice for the meantime if Ripple loses. Then again, because of what the SEC has done against Coinbase, Binance, and the others, and BlackRock now joining, I think the chance of them losing is smaller and smaller because they've just got so much on their freaking fork. Like before, the whole Hinman situation used to only be looked at by the XRP community. Right now, because of them going after Coinbase and Binance, etc., there's so many eyeballs on this, and everybody is analyzing whatever Hinman did. And right now, the attack, or I should say defense of Ethereum, or the attack on XRP in Ethereum's benefit, is becoming more and more apparent because more and more people are looking at it, and the documents obviously are also now finally public. Now, the SEC, like I said earlier, just said that they are trying their best, but, well, they kind of have to switch up things, and they're saying that everything is basically unregistered. It's all a matter of non-compliance, so people don't like what we're doing. Like we said it before, everything that happens in any of these lawsuits will have a very big impact on the rest of the crypto space. But again, the idea right now at the SEC is that the whole space is built around non-compliance, to which I'd like to say, everybody wants to comply, but what can you comply to if nobody explains the rules, right? You might state, well, but some other companies were able to go and get their exchange off the ground. Which ones exactly? Which ones exactly, huh? because I don't really think Coinbase is doing anything that shady or crazy. They have proper registration requirements in every way, shape, or form, if you ask me. They literally ask you all your info. What exactly else should they be doing that makes them different from these other companies? I mean, due diligence wise, they've probably gone over this when they went for their IPO. They've probably gone over all these different points when they went for an IPO, yet things were fine at that point. Right now, they aren't. We've talked about this. Anyway, two major things are also happening in the background. Crypto payments platform Wire is shuttering, citing bear market conditions. Wire has begun the process of winding down and noted that interested parties can now start inquiring about purchasing the firm's assets. I'm going to be honest with you and say that I don't fully understand exactly what's going on here, except for the fact that they're trying to sell it. But the way they've announced things, I think is kind of weird. They apparently were supposed to get acquired for $1.5 billion about a year ago, but that did not pull through. And so apparently on January 4th, trouble started brewing with fiat to crypto on-ramp solution provider Juno, urging its users to get their crypto assets off the platform and self-custody due to reported uncertainty regarding Wire. The following day, MetaMask also winded down support for Wire's crypto payment services over the same issue, and so they basically just screwed themselves. But right now, I just wanted to say, hey, if you've used the platform before, just know it's basically going down, and that's about it. With regards to Binance and everything going on right there, like we said just in, Binance Global and Binance US reached a deal with the SEC. And taking a look over on Twitter, it said Binance and Binance US reached a proposed stipulation with the US SEC to restrict Binance Global access to Binance US wallets and systems. To make it a little bit less vague, CZ himself said, although we maintain the SEC's request for emergency relief was entirely unwarranted, we are pleased that the disagreement over this request was resolved on mutually acceptable terms. User funds have been and always will be safe and secure on all Binance affiliated platforms. The Binance US page themselves said this: we want to provide an update on the current battle the Binance US finds itself in with the SEC. We're pleased to inform you that the court did not grant the SEC's request for a TRO and freeze of assets on our platform, which was clearly unjustified by both facts and the law. Instead, we were able to reach a court-ordered agreement with the SEC that allows us to continue our ordinary course business. There has never been any evidence presented by the SEC concerning misuse of customer assets. In fact, the SEC lawyers conceded in court earlier this week when asked by the judge that they had no evidence suggestion that any such thing had actually occurred. The SEC's request would have effectively shuttered our business, which is consistent with the agency's continued attempts to kill the crypto industry by any means, even by making allegations that are not supported by the facts. This fight has damaged our business and our reputation, but not our fighting spirit or our resolve to defend ourselves against unwarranted charges and regulation by enforcement tactics that do not belong in our system of justice. We look forward to continuing to defend ourselves in court. Anyway, I'm not sure how much in depth I've covered this already, but let me just quickly say, man, Bakkt are a bunch of freaking little babies, huh? They can't even take a proper fight. In all seriousness, this is so whack. I mean, this shows you to not use platforms like Robinhood, eToro, and Bakkt. And I wonder if Twitter, that's partnered up with eToro, is eventually going to also call their bluff, call their BS, because that's really, really wacko. Just wanted to quickly say, these guys are so freaking money hungry. All they care about is just making sure they do not get sued, get their money. They don't care about crypto at all. It's really wacky. Just wanted to quickly make that clear. And with regards to what we stated earlier, I still stand by the idea that this whole BlackRock situation just hit the SEC on the freaking head. It just hit them right in the freaking eye with a 12 gauge, because what can they do now? All right. Apparently, they're going to be going for Coinbase custody. Their iShares Bitcoin Trust will use Coinbase custody as its custodian. Novograd says them filing for this would make it easier for blue chip investors to dive into the space. There's two things you have to understand. Two most important things. One, regulatory wise, if they deny this, you've got BlackRock versus the SEC, because now BlackRock is trying to find out what the rules are if this is not allowed to pull through, which is one extremely bullish thing. The second extremely bullish thing is that if you've pressed that like button, you're making me happy, which I like. The third bullish thing is that right now, right, and you got to understand this, the floodgates are not fully open because regulations are quite difficult. And so the moment that this ETF, which again is a trust, but still the ETF like this opens up properly by BlackRock, just imagine how much more money would flow in. The fourth reason it's very nice is because it uses Coinbase custody. That's a big middle finger to the US SEC. And I think the fifth is because if BlackRock is starting here, I personally think they're also going to be expanding to multiple different cryptos soon enough, which shows some really big faith in crypto because, do you guys remember this? How it started versus how it's going. BlackRock CEO in 2017, Larry Fink, calls Bitcoin an index of money laundering. And then remember what we saw a couple days ago? Yeah, BlackRock files for a spot Bitcoin ETF with Coinbase as crypto custodian because, well, they're freaking bullish. In the midst, of course, we've also had BlackRock saying their parties are interested, their institutional clients want to be able to purchase crypto, which they already went for some facilities, but I guess they want even more access to this space. They know there's money to be made, which is, again, the same for all these banks, which is why these banks, like we talked about before, are majorly buying into MicroStrategy stock because that's basically the closest to an ETF, I guess, except for GBTC that they can get to. But definitely there's interest, and definitely this space is just ever growing. But yeah, that's it for this video. Again, guys, I will say, make sure you put the notification bell on. What if something crazy happens? You want to be notified as soon as possible. And yeah, if you've done that, so press the little notification bell on, click. If you've done that, you're set. That was it. See ya.